Hello and welcome to the next Thematic List Build. On the previous installment, I covered the Flesh Terrors. This time we are moving on to the Honored First, the original Angels of Death. So let's dive into a Thematic List Build for the Dark Angels. For those new, the goal of the Thematic List Build series is to create a 2K Strike Force size list based around a theme central to the focused faction. And with that stated, let's take a look at the subfaction rules. Disclaimer, I hated the 8th edition rules for the Dark Angels. They were absolute trash, and probably my pick for the worst codex of 8th edition. That said, there have been sweeping changes for them in 9th that sees them far better off. For starters, their chapter tactic, Grim Resolve, now gives units which remain stationary +1 to hit, where previously it gave units that remain stationary a reroll hit rolls of 1 for shooting attacks. This is now vastly better. It provides a perk that is more justifiable for not moving, which is a massive restriction to gate a perk behind in a game where you get to move only 5 times. And that restriction has been reduced, going from not moving in your prior movement phase to not moving in that turn. And now the perk it provides can benefit a unit making melee attacks as well. Their previous Doctrine bonus, Relentless Hunt, added more range to weapons, and it was serviceable for the few weeks before Doctrine switching was made mandatory. With the new supplement, things have been completely overhauled, and now the Dark Angels are provided a set of 3 Doctrines for the 3 different wings of the Dark Angels. Raven Wing units get Speed of the Raven in the Devastator Doctrine, giving them 3 inches more movement from the get-go, and allows units to fire weapons when advancing, effectively treating their weapons as assault weapons. Green Wing, or standard infantry units, get Fire Discipline in the Tactical Doctrine, allowing them to shoot while in engagement range, hitting on a 5-up. And Deathwing infantry and dreadnoughts get Implacable in the Assault Doctrine, allowing them to reroll wounds in the fight phase versus characters or models with more than 8 wounds. It's quite the complement of rules for a single subfaction of Space Marines, though I would like to make the case that this isn't necessarily a point of codex creep. It's worth keeping in mind that the Dark Angels Specialist Wings take little to no benefit from their chapter tactic, a giant criticism I had for their 8th edition rule set by the way. And that is still the case here. Raven Wing units want to be moving, and Deathwing count as being moved when they arrive from reserves, and their 3 Doctrines are just the way I prefer Doctrines to be, very specific to the units they affect, which compensates well for the Raven Wing and Deathwing's inability to take advantage from their chapter tactic, and instead can flex their attributes with their very specialized combat doctrines, which sits well with me. And also take note that these 3 doctrines offer no layers of overlap between the units that take advantage of them. Here's the creep. Rules for the 1st and 2nd companies. It enables Vanguard and Outrider detachments, which are comprised only of Deathwing and Ravenwing units, access to objectives secure for the less elite units of those companies. And if the Warlord is in that detachment, its cost becomes refunded, allowing you to play pure Vanguard Deathwing or Ravenwing Outrider army lists. Immediately, the White Scars come to mind, a chapter whose whole identity is similar to that of the Dark Angels 2nd Company. That is to be highly mobile with heavy use of bikes and speeders. Simply, the White Scars can't be played in this manner, a whole chapter that can't use these foundational thematic rules which best flex those attributes, while a single component of the Dark Angels can. Very inconsistent. And Warhammer community had the audacity to point this out and basically laugh at White Scars players. Very scummy if you ask me. Do the right thing. Fack it. Fack it for all the factions, which should have these kinds of exceptions. But I digress. On the whole, it's great for the Dark Angels to finally have their foundational rules brought to a standard that finally feels like you are rewarded for playing Dark Angels. After about an edition's worth of neglect, things are finally set right. Regarding the thematic objectives of the list, they are to create a list comprised entirely of Firstborn Space Marines, to feature some deadly weapons from the Dark Age, and to create a brutal eradication style list that features elements of the 3 wings. Now, let's go over to the list breakdown. The list is organized into a battalion, and I figured I would start going through the units wing by wing, following the relevant combat doctrine order. So let's start with the first HQ, the Raven Wing Talonmaster. He serves as second in command of this operation. For this purpose, 1 command point has been spent to give him the trait Lightning Fast Reactions, and the relic, the Arbiter's Gaze. The Ravenwing Talonmaster is awesome. He provides Lieutenant buff wrapped in a Landspeeder package, equipped with a twin heavy bolter and twin assault cannon. Defensively, he has 8 wounds, and his Warlord trait gives him a -1 to hit, protecting his toughness of 6. And with Jink, as long as he doesn't stop moving, he will have at least a 5-up invulnerable save versus ranged attacks. And thanks to the Arbiter's Gaze, all that firepower will always be hitting on 2s, irrespective of modifiers or enemy abilities, and those attacks will also ignore cover benefits. It's also worth noting the Arbiter's Gaze permits his Overwatch to hit on 2s as well, and uniquely, the Talonmaster has an aura to let the attacks of Ravenwing units nearby ignore the cover bonuses to a target the Talonmaster declares in the command phase. The core of the Ravenwing component is a 5-man squad of Black Knights. There isn't much to them. They are fast and can hit hard thanks to their unique weaponry. Their Plasma Talons are 18-inch 2-shot plasma weapons. You can consider the targeting guidance stratagem to give them a +1 to hit when targeting a unit near and within line of sight to a Landspeeder, which can overlap nicely with the Talonmaster's auras, as well as the weapons of the Dark Age stratagem to increase the damage in place of overcharging or boost it even further. In combat, the Black Knights can do well against elite infantry, as the improved Corvus hammers have a profile suitable to the task. To support the squad of Black Knights, and pretty much every other infantry unit, is a Ravenwing Apothecary. His bike is also equipped with Plasma Talons, but I wouldn't recommend overcharging them. He is here for his Narthesium aura, to heal wounds, and to use the combat restorative stratagem to help keep the dream alive. Providing some anti-armor fire support are 2 Landspeeder Vengeances, both taken with an assault cannon. Finally, the Plasma Storm Battery isn't a trash tier weapon that restricts the use on supercharged hit rolls of 1. It effectively functions as a twin heavy plasma cannon, and as a variable blast weapon, it can excel versus heavy infantry as well. And those are the Ravenwing units. On to the Green Wing. Taking up 3 troop slots are 3 units of Tactical Marines. All units are loaded out identically in a Plasma Combi Plasma configuration, which enables even these Tactical Marine squads the capacity to deal damage to vehicles, and shred Chaos Space Marine Ceramite. Each squad's sergeant has also taken a power sword, so they too can fight like the knights of old Caliban. Transporting these battle brothers are 3 Razorbacks. Each are sporting twin last cannons, as well as each having a hunter-killer missile but 1 for ancillary fire support. And finally onto the Deathwing. Starting with the last HQ is the Grandmaster of the Deathwing, Belial, who is serving as the warlord of this eradication force, equipped with a mastercrafted Stormbolter and his signature blade, the Sword of Silence. As the Grandmaster of the Deathwing, he is able to give full hit rerolls to a Deathwing core or character in the command phase. He has 5 attacks on the charge hitting on 2s, and always wounding non-vehicles on 2s, with AP 4 dealing an excellent consistent damage of 3. Where he really shines though is defensively. 6 wounds with a -1 to hit versus melee attacks. His base toughness is 4, but Inner Circle forces unmodified wound rolls of 1 to 3 to always fail. All of that is protecting his 2-up armor save and 4-up invulnerable save. And if damage does slip through, his Warlord trait reduces damage suffered by 1. Rolling along with Belial is a squad of Deathwing Knights. All Deathwing are Inner Circle, and in combination with their possession of Storm Shields, makes the Deathwing Knights extremely resilient. Their Maces of Absolution have the same profile as Thunderhammers, with the Knightmaster's Flail of the Unforgiven, allowing damage to spill over to the subsequent models in the unit. They are a hardy unit that wants to fight. And serving as a hardy unit that wants to shoot is a standard Deathwing Terminator squad. They are here to provide some anti-infantry firepower where you need it. Consider using the Deathwing Assault stratagem to grant their shots a very nasty +1 to wound. And that's the list. It comes to 2,000 points, and after spending 1 command point on the extra Warlord trait, it provides 11 command points. I am quite satisfied with it in terms of checking all the boxes, with every capable unit being deadly, and when all laid out creates quite an even representation of the 3 wings. So for anti-tank shooting options, we have the Landspeeder Vengeances, the Hunter-Killer missiles, and 6 last cannons on the Razorbacks. I would also give an honorable mention to the plasma guns on the infantry and bikers, as they do have that flexibility. And in melee, the Deathwing squads both have tools fit for the task of combating high-toughness multi-wound targets. For elite infantry and light vehicle shooting options, we again have all the plasma weapons in the list, along with the Talonmaster's twin heavy bolter. And all the Deathwing units and Black Knights are well suited for engaging in melee combat versus elite infantry or light vehicles. and providing anti-infantry fire support are the 4 assault cannons spread across the land speeders and the storm bolters from the Deathwing Terminator squad. And for the honored 1st Legion, I leave you with a quote from your Primarch. Well, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. I had a pretty fun time putting together this Firstborn Dark Angels list. If you have any questions, comments, or requests, please feel free to drop them down below. And if you are a Dark Angels player, I would be curious to know how you are feeling with the current 9th edition Codex and Supplement. So, if you enjoyed this video, there is a like button, and if you want to help my channel grow, there is a subscribe button. There is also a bell button and a share button, so press the buttons you want to press. Thanks again for watching, and I will hope to see you guys in the next one.